Fat, sick, almost dead, stressed out by the algorithm and barely hanging on. It's Tinfoil Tuesday.
So if you like exposing truth and dropping truth bombs, then welcome to Tinfoil Tuesday.
I want the truth!
Well, a big Shazam to you people. I want to talk to you. It's Tinfoil Tuesday. I want to talk to you a little bit about something that's more about our daily lives. A lot of times we're talking about aliens and spooky stuff and things that I like to talk about and ancient technology. And these are all tinfoil kind of things. But this one is really about things that are more about our daily lives. Tinfoil is not about aliens. It's about seeing the world through a lens that hopefully is fairly clear and trying to maybe like parse or delineate in our lives things in a clear way to see how things actually operate. I want to talk to you about some stuff that hopefully will start a conversation. I will say this, stay with me to the end. I got no answers for you, but we're going to have a conversation. Today's episode is brought to you by you people. I have no sponsor today. I just want to talk to you. Thank you for everything. Hitting a thumbs up is awesome. Being open to a conversation like this is even better. So thank y'all. This should be a lot of fun. A friend of mine stopped me this morning and said, hey, did you see the cartel stuff that's getting fired up in Mexico? And I immediately said, I did. I saw the headlines. I didn't click any of it, but it's about wealth transference. And she said, what does that mean? We know this for certain is that COVID, that whole entire era, was the largest transference of wealth ever, and all of it transferred up. The middle class was bent over, and we are talking untold, probably in the trillions, up to the 1%, and we haven't recovered from that. All the mom and pop shops closed, not all of them, but you understand what I mean, and all of the big ones stayed open. The wealth went up. So I see something like the cartel getting fired up and all that happening, and I look at the Mexican elections from years ago or 2 years ago, and I look at how that took place. I'm not getting into that. And I said, that's just about wealth transference. There's going to be some big program where we've got to go down to the border and we've got to fix things and we've got to go battle, and the military-industrial complex will rise on those waters. Insert any reference right now to what's going on in Iran. It is more transference of wealth. And I think for me, it opens up a bigger picture. I open with this. We are fat. We are sick. We are tired. We are stressed out. We are coked out on the algorithm. Our brains are coked out on stress and cortisol, and we find ourselves in a place where we're not doing okay. While it's fun to talk about aliens and it's fun to talk about super conspiratorial things like Obama and Trump both talking about aliens in the last 72 hours, that's all fun. But I wanted to stop today and say, can we look through the lens of what's actually happening in America today? Some new data has come out in the last 30 days about the algorithm. And even if you personally are not sitting there scrolling social media like so many of us do, you might be watching legacy media like Fox News, or maybe two of you watch CNN or MSNBC, or however you get your news, from Washington Post to the LA Times. All of it, this new data suggests that it is designed to keep us addicted to outrage. There are theories right now that our phones are watching our eyes, listening to us, watching how we scroll. They know where our eyes are, and they are feeding us things that upset us. Literally, the algorithm of social media, and we talked about this last week, that the average American spends 2 hours and 9 minutes of screen time just on their phones every day. A lot of folks, even the folks that don't have phones, those numbers are still there, 2 hours and 9 minutes. So some folks are up in 4, 5, 6 hours, and young people are up in 6 to 9 hours every day. And we have learned that those algorithms are designed to keep us stressed out and to keep the outrage going. We also find out that outrage is an addiction. A lot of folks are addicted to being outraged. I have a wonderful group of friends, big group of friends, and they're outraged all the time. Did you see what Nancy Pelosi said or did? Did you see about AOC? Did you see about Jasmine Crockett? Did you see all of this stuff? And they're outraged always. I do the same thing. Watch the memes. And I've been seeing through this lens of outrage that it's not good. Some other data came out, and I started to pull some stuff today and do graphics and make it fancy, but I said, you know what, let's just talk. I saw some things this week that was talking about how we are pre-programmed and designed to be fat, sick, and addicted to the big pharmacological institution that we've got to put things into our body, move away from the sunshine, lock ourselves into a cubicle and be stressed out and do spreadsheets for 40 years and then die at 67 of some weird stuff because of all the food and the chemicals that we give ourselves and all that nonsense we pump into our veins at the doctor's office. It's not good. I believe this, and I believe this more and more every day, that we are fat, sick, tired, and coked out on the algorithm, and it's not good. We're killing ourselves. We are literally killing ourselves. Man was put on this earth to work, and even Adam was put in the garden to tend the garden so many people are like, he named the animals. He was so smart. I don't know. I can make up names all day long. I name you Kevin. But we do know he was put on this in this world to work and to populate the earth and to create a family and to have children and to have a life. And now we find ourselves, because of what's taken place in the last 100 years, from 2026 to today, we have moved from family units, and really it started with the Industrial Revolution. We've moved from family units, an agrarian society, being rural. People come to the cities during the Industrial Revolution, and then Henry Ford decides, you know what, we need a 40-hour work week. And now it's like 40 hours. Case in point, you have every kindergartner rolls into the public education institutions, and in kindergarten, they sit down, and one of the first questions they ask them is, what do you want to be when you grow up? How are you going to pay taxes? And we start from the very beginning about tax payments and about keeping this machine going. I get it. I like when the lights are on. I like when the roads are smooth. I like when we have a strong military. I get that completely. But the idea of every woman having to join the workforce and pay someone else to raise her children is a challenge. And even if that was your pathway, I get you're part of this system. I was too. And it's a challenge that I find myself in 2026 to look at the tax rates that we have, about sending all this money overseas, about all these planes last week that went to Iran. And then I go to the grocery store and look at all this hot garbage that we're putting into ourselves. And if we don't feel good, we go to the doctor's office and they crank out more drugs. And it's this nonstop treadmill of being fat, sick, tired, and coked out on the algorithm. That is my message today, is to be able to stop and go, you know what are we doing to ourselves? All this social media we do, and there's value in social media. I love what I get to do right here at this desk. It's phenomenal. It's fun. And I hope that us together, y'all send them to me, I post them, we are getting a good message out there to help push back on the cultural war that we find ourselves in. However, I find myself today separated from how I get my food, separated from the earth and being, skin contact onto the ground and the whole grounding thing that we talked about here a couple months ago. How often am I in the sun? How often am I out actually using my physical force to actually do something? Instead, I'm pushing digits on a screen and again, paying taxes. I get to this point, I was driving over to the studio a few minutes ago and I said, all right, now what do we do? How do we respond? How thus should we respond to this? I'm just saying this. I have a lens that's either been added or taken away. I'm not sure, but it's certainly tinfoil, in that I'm starting to see our society a little bit better and I hope, a little bit clearer. I don't know what the answer is. I told you at the beginning, I don't have an answer for you, but I can say this. Can we have a conversation? Can we, in our lives, think about how we are living and move away from being burdened and strapped down by outrage and pharmaceuticals and move towards something like how I think that we were created to be? It's a big, big leap, but I want to take strides in 2026 to get a little bit closer to how the Lord put us on this earth to operate and to be. I know this for certain. I don't think the Lord created us to do spreadsheets, though I do spreadsheets literally every day of my life. My lens, my tinfoil for the day, is to move away from being fat, sick, and almost dead to maybe moving back towards sunlight and another 10,000 things we can do in our week to see things a little bit clearer. What say you? Let me know right down below. See y'all tomorrow on Hump Wednesday.
Welcome to Tinfoil Tuesday. We hope you sing along.
You want answers? Diabetes.